glimpse of Vinod just brushing his hair and getting ready for the live event. We also managed to capture that.
Yeah, well, thanks, Karthik. You keep asking questions in the previous call, right? I think yeah, with the startup, I think I had to squeeze in a call in the middle of taking a toilet break and change a shirt and do whatever. This doesn't look like any makeup, but I like literally multitasking in the last 5 minutes to the highest level I think I've done in the recent past because of time that you managed to squeeze for all of us.
Not bad, man. You've been able to accomplish so much in such short span of time.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
just short of making one search recommendation. That was the only pending thing now. Okay.
yeah, and as for me, I just couldn't um, get my white hat today, unfortunately.
Oh God, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure Vinam is going to miss the white hat senior. Yeah.
Vinam or you? That was you. That
No,
was
no,
concocted
yeah,
by
I
you.
calling you white hat senior is me, but Vinam loves you being called white hat senior. They need it. Yeah.
Right, right, right. So,
Hey,
guys, welcome to Freewheeling Fridays from Java. Really happy that you guys can join us here. Um, we're live on YouTube and Periscope, Twitter right now. So feel free to type in any questions or anything that you would like to share, and we'll see how we can loop you in on the conversation. Always keep those funny comments coming in. Especially on Vinod, it's more than welcome. FYI, Vinod, what do we have on agenda today?
oh, I think we've got an exciting guest who's a friend of
Yay!
who's a friend of Java. He's going to be here. Surprise guest as usual. He's all
Yes.
charged up. He should join us any moment. He brings in a lot of value, literally value to startups in India.
Mm.
This is going to be an exciting conversation. Where we're going to discuss with him. How he thinks. What is he? How does he invest? We're going to talk to somebody who's a partner, friend, well-wisher for Java Capital. Exciting, and to
No,
see and
this
understand.
this guest is so surprising. I mean, it's such a surprise that even I didn't know who that is going to be until just a few moments ago, right? So this is good, exciting. Um, while we are talking about guests, right? I think previously we've had guests like Ramnik, one of the co-founders of Lenskart, and then we had Paras from Let's Venture, who is starting on his own journey, and then we had Raj. So we have quite a few interesting guests coming on this. I don't know what to call it. Should we call it a show? Is it a show?
Uh, I don't know.
Well,
You
it's
should.
just a freewheeling conversation. I mean, this is like the water cooler conversation that you have, right, at office, because we're all now, staying at home for the most part. This comes close to having a water cooler conversation, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm surprised. I think we should ask people to ask us questions. If they're willing to join. People are so shy to join a freewheeling conversation. I'm like just throwing it at people who are watching now. Please do join us. Put your questions here. Ask us anything on the ecosystem. We've got a bunch of stuff to discuss today, and
Yes.
the surprise guest should be here any moment.
Yippee. Hey, before we have our surprise guest, just want to make a quick announcement about our angel investor course. This is the fourth batch. We're so proud that some of our previous participants in the batch have started making investments. In fact, more than 30% of those who have participated in these courses that we were giving have started making their angel investing, and they have also invested. A majority of them have invested with us, which is very exciting. And yeah, I think keep them coming. If you want more information, just go to javacapital.co slash angel. Wait, what is that? Angel dash investor dash course. and take a look at what we are doing on the course. And more than happy to answer any questions you may have. The next batch is starting on September 26th to October 18. So we'll have 8 modules. We have Saturdays and Sundays where we are blocking 75 minutes each of your time. Trust me, this will be an amazing course. As we go through it, I'm always amazed by the kind of participants that we get, the peer group that you could learn from, and also the questions that they ask. Right, it's a very immersive sort of a program, right, Vinod?
Yeah, absolutely. I always, keep telling, like last time I mentioned, I learn a lot, apart from, giving whatever that I've learned over the years. So I think it's always exciting. Every batch is exciting, and every question, Okay, Karthik, I think a guest has trouble with the link. I am just
Oh no,
here, no worries. This link, yeah.
I am sharing the link with you again.
No, we've got it. It
Ah,
happened,
okay.
right, as you know. So we should see our surprise guest any moment. Maybe I'll just talk about this is somebody who's invested in companies such as Yulu, Piggy Ride, Deal Chef, Dose FM, Tap Chief, SuperK, Kava Space, a bunch of companies actually. So we should see him anytime, Karthik. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have. I think you've given enough information. If anybody is listening online right now, do you guys want to take a guess? Wait, I think we have somebody online. Let me just loop him in. Hello, surprise
Hi,
guest. Welcome to the show.
hi, Karthik. How are you doing?
Good, man. How's it going? How are you doing? Okay, it looks like we are still continuing to have the trouble with the network. So at least now that we have the picture, do you want to go ahead and make the do the proper introduction?
So we have with us Akshay Bhansali from Super Value. I was just giving a hint right earlier. This is Akshay Bhansali from Super Value, which is a micro VC firm. And he comes from again a traditional family business background, but some of the things we would discuss, right. He just has a strong process built for how he wants to invest in companies, and more importantly, not to invest in companies. That's what I like, about Akshay. When I first, had a conversation. It's a funny way, with me and Akshay, reconnected again. Even though we are connected, right? We actually have to reconnect. We didn't
Right,
know that we had
right.
actually connected.
I was, I
Right.
was, I was
Hey, Akshay,
targeting,
welcome to the show
specifically
again.
that week.
I the third time is the charm.
Thank you, Karthik. Thank you.
Yeah, knock on wood.
Actually, you should just tell, how, we just bumped into each other the second time around. It would be interesting to see.
Sure. So, there was this initiative, Paid Forward, and Vinod and I, both of us had participated in it, and we both had mentored a few startups. And so we, all of the mentors had one common group on WhatsApp, and we didn't know each other. So like there are guys from Axel, 314 Capital, Bloom, like guys from all the firms in that group. So one day this guy randomly messages me that, hey, the group, I write deal memos on all the startups which I'm evaluating. So if anyone,
So, Karthik, I think, the third time charm really didn't work.
Didn't work. Okay. No, I was blaming on my unstable internet. Okay, I thought it was me, but I'm
Yeah. So
on
just
on
continue
your
on,
end.
right, from where Akshay. So I just randomly pinged Akshay. I didn't know Akshay. I just pinged saying, send me the memos that you've written. Whatever little information, right? He actually shared that, straight away. I was actually surprised, see how many people would actually do it very promptly, and Akshay actually did that, and it surprised me. But he sends it from an ID called some partner at. Okay, I'm giving away his ID. Uh, so I when I went back, and next time next time, right, recently I then came across an article saying Super Value was investing in startups, and I said, okay, let's look this up. On the same day, right, this article came up, and another VC friend pinged me saying Super Value is investing in another company that we are also looking at. So it just surprised me that two three places I've heard Akshay's name, but without knowing, I'm already connected to him in some
Yeah.
form, right? So then I pinged him on LinkedIn, and Akshay surprises me saying, "Hey, we already know each other." Yeah. Oh, we already exchanged notes. I'm like, "Oh, is it?" And then we just got on a call, and then we got chatting. That's how Akshay. We kind of bumped into each other. So Akshay says, give him a couple of minutes. He's fixing his.
Got it. He's back, so I'm just gonna loop him in.
Now I changed my
Yeah.
location. I'm just getting out in the open, so hopefully this would work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Akshay. No problem. We were just
Sure, Karthik. I think fourth time I
damn it! I think I jinxed it.
I think this is a freewheeling where we're going to talk about all the internet connection problems in this country, and even if Mukesh dollars, Facebook, everybody puts it right, it's still an unsolved problem.
Still not enough.
And we are not even talking of rural back of the country beyond places. Right, Akshay lives in Pune, proper Pune. I think now I'm starting to almost abuse telecom providers by now.
Yeah.
I think they are surprising the surprise guest today.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I think looks stable actually now. I think
Great, great,
no, I really,
We can hear you. I think that's an improvement.
great. Keeping my fingers crossed.
yeah. Actually, I completed the story for you anyway, right?
Oh, you did. Thank you,
You
Vinod.
hopped in and hopped out.
Yeah,
I think very warm conversation that one led to another, and I think we've been staying in
right,
touch and sharing notes. What to do next. Actually, just tell a little
right.
bit about
Super value, right?
value. Yeah, yeah.
Sure, sure, sure.
Why
So
create super value? What does super value do? Yeah.
sure. So it's still we're still in our early stages. Super value is 6 months old micro VC. What we are looking at is backing best of the best founders with along with the best of the best founders. So our thesis, we are not looking to lead off any of the companies we invest in. We are looking to co-invest. We are looking to invest with best of the investors and with best of the founders. Our check sizes are pretty small, say 25 to 30 lakhs as compared to other VCs. So that's why what we look at is getting along in the best investments along with them. Rather than leading the round entirely, we prefer partnering with these marquee investors and tag along in the investments in them. So many VCs or many micro VCs also have small allocations with them, which we'd love to participate. Uh, Coming on the thesis side, we look at three main parts. The most important is black swan fishing. Uh, when it so what I mean to say with the black swan fishing is if you want to really hit it big in any of the industry with angel investing, you need to be present or the startup needs to be present at scale before the event or before the tipping point occurs. For example, see, Corona was a tipping point for most of the education startups, but the companies which made a bang for their buck or which grew exponentially were who were ready from last 5 to 7 years at scale, having created a great distribution, and they could just take it ahead from them once the pandemic hit. So pandemic is a black swan event, which depends on the nature. So what we look at is more of a man-made black swans, something like demonetization, or like any random events happening. Say suppose tomorrow Indian government legalizes gambling. Overnight the gambling startups or betting startups would grow so much that like it would be a new multi billion dollar industry. So we always think, of course, now this should fit in your thesis and your logic, that are these industries actually or logically going to get legalized, say marijuana or gambling. These are vice industries, but there are many other industries as well. Say insurance stack is the next big thing they're talking about. Like the insurance stack, the government is creating different levels in the entire stack to increase the reach of insurance. So that's a sector we're actively looking at.
Awesome. Great. Uh, Actually, what would you call, some of your, recent companies, would you like to talk about, what?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So recently we invested in the Renal Project. So it's not a typical VC bet, but it's a what they are doing is serving a genuine need. So the Renal Project creates dialysis centers in 15 to 30 bed hospitals. So what we identified with Renal Project was it's a really underserved market, and it is providing access to the underserved public. So this is the bottom of the pyramid. So dialysis is a growing need in the country, in the society. And what Renal Project is doing is they are providing it at a minimal cost. So the play here is achieving a huge distribution and let the customers come to you. So they are leveraging technology, and they are leveraging the ready infrastructure which the hospitals have, and providing this facility. So Renal Project is a, if you ask me in one line, it's a dialysis treatment chain.
Great, great, Akshay.
Got it. So Akshay, but let me just put you on spot, right?
Sure.
Uh, what do you know about startups? Why should somebody come to Super Value?
Sure. So what I so I've been active in the ecosystem since last 7 to 8 years.
That's an
During my
understatement.
Yeah, so during my journey, I've met a lot of founders, say Amit Gupta ji from Yulu Bikes, Ritesh Malik from Innovate, Ramakant Sharma ji from LiveSpace. I've met really great people from the ecosystem. And what I like about these guys is also they are really helpful, or they really help you out with any problems you have. So when I look at startups, I always feel very free and discuss with these guys as to what do you think are the views. So say suppose some startup comes in real estate or something related to co-working, I can give it to Ritesh Malik. Something comes with say electronic vehicles or say electric space or say EV space or anything related to bikes, bike sharing. So I can discuss it with Amit ji. So these are the marquee people which I connect with, and I brainstorm with on what companies or what. See, so every industry has certain black holes, or every industry has certain small nitty-gritties which you would know if you are an entrepreneur in that field. So my intention as an angel investor is always to take the startup to the right person in that field and ask him, is this actually a black hole? Is this actually a need? And if
Yeah.
they can help you with, nothing like it.
And actually, in your own right? You've been an entrepreneur before. You started up
Absolutely.
companies uh,
Absolutely.
in real estate, advertising, etc.
Yes.
Right? So
Yes.
you know a thing or two about startups. What's
Absolutely.
interesting, Akshay, is some of your portfolio companies, right? Like very familiar ones, like Yulu
Right.
or Dealshare. Do you want to talk a little bit about how those happened?
Sure, sure. So, because having been active in the ecosystem, the deal flow just comes in. Like you meet people, you get to know them, you discuss your thesis, and the companies come on your table. The important part lies in evaluating the deals, or knowing that if this would work out, or hoping that this would work out, and why this would work out. So the questions you need to ask yourselves once the deal comes on your table is why. would this work out, and why wouldn't this work out? So even
Hmm.
if you can write down the points. So let me take an example of Yulu bikes. When Yulu bikes came to me, there were two other companies which were starting electric bikes. There was Mobike and there was Ola also, which was getting into e-bikes. So what made me look at Yulu as a special baby was because Amit ji himself has been a founder of InMobi. He himself left InMobi and started Yulu bikes. Whereas for the other companies, say Mobikes or the Ola also starting their bikes, these were being managed by MBA grads or by say people who were working with the founders, but they were being managed by someone else. It wasn't the entrepreneur on the founder running the startup. So when I
Hmm.
looked at Yulu Bikes, what got me real good confidence was the founder, a marquee founder coming starting a company in this space will always beat someone who's a marquee founder but doing this part time or putting up MBA grads and running this business on the sidelines. Uh, that's what was the main turning point for me with Yulu. Like the other points were electric. So like the pollution, the traffic, any city, like any Bangalore, Mumbai, Pune, or Delhi, any city you go to, you can see the traffic conditions. So there is a definitely a huge market which is being there or which is waiting to be served, even if it comes to the last mile transportation. And that's where
Yeah.
I think Yulu got in, and that that's what made me take a call on Yulu. Yeah.
Actually, just going into that same point as Karthik was asking, right, that you write
Sure,
memos. You mentioned to me, right, you write memos for
sure.
every company that you invest, and you also write a memo for, every company.
Every and don't invest. Very
Yeah,
true.
which is like very, very, I would say, mm, I mean, a heartful measure, if you ask me, right? I keep thinking I should do that, but, somehow value of time, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but when you look back, right, what made you
yeah.
do that one? And just tell us, if you can, some missed deal. If not, name them. If you can name them, great. But if
Sure,
you can't name them, what
sure,
did it come out of? Why you are writing the memo, and what did you miss?
sure.
In the process. Yeah,
Sure, sure. So when I started investing, so see, everyone always tells you their hits. Nobody will tell you their misses. So
yeah,
when I started investing, I realized that. So obviously, I was investing my own capital or my family capital. So that's when I realized, see, the only person I'm going to fool is myself, or the only person I have to convince is myself. So I took a step back and decided let's not just fool ourselves because this is our own capital. So if, of course, even if it's your LP capital, you shouldn't fool anyone, no doubt. But just so that you know that you're not fooling yourself or your LPs, it's very important that you write down what has made you make decision 5 years, 15 years, 7 years down the line, whenever you see these things, you will realize that where I was wrong and you can improvise. So, see, there's nothing wrong with making a wrong decision. There's nothing wrong with making bad investments. What people fail is when they fail to improvise. So, if our intention is to improvise, it's very important to even keep a track of your bad decisions. That's when I decided that I hope all of these startups which I'm missing are good decisions. But what if it's a bad decision? If it is, let me just go back and evaluate it maybe some few years down the line. So there was this startup in Kirana Tech. So the founders were not from, say, the founders weren't willing to shift to Bangalore, Mumbai, or Gurgaon. So they were operating from a town in MP. So what the business was solid. The business plan was really good. They were helping out kirana walas to increase their business. Market is amazingly huge. Like I would call it, say, a multi-billion dollar market. I wrote in my thesis the startup is really great, the market's huge, but the founders are not operating from a tech city, or the founders are not pure tech guys as in IIT, IIM. So what made me so I it just made me feel that maybe these guys were like looking at the big picture, or they weren't going to really make it big. They would do it, but I would rather keep my chips for someone who's working out of Bangalore or say out of Mumbai. A few years down the line, the founders have, I'm sure it's going to be a unicorn in like the next 1 or 2 years.
I think
Uh,
I think some of
I,
us can identify which company is that. Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have. And by then I realized that I went back to my thesis. I looked up. I said, "यार, गलती तो हमने ही किया है." Doubting a highly ambitious founders is what I will never do again. So that made me realize that founder ka background or the city is one part, but if he's highly ambitious, never doubt the person if he'll execute it from a tier 2 or tier 3 city. And how I improvised on that. So there's this startup which say now, since I've invested in SuperK, I can name it. So SuperK is one of the companies who are operating from a small town in Andhra Pradesh. So super smart guys, really friendly guys, super huge market. It's they're in Kirana tech, helping Kirana guys increase their efficiency, helping them with orders, helping them with bulk purchases. Really like the startup. And when I went to my thesis in the same sector, I realized that small town is not a barrier. It's actually a chip on their shoulder, which will help them grow really fast. It was a no-brainer. Like I had to invest in them, and they're doing really well, to be honest.
No, no, I think I like those stories, Akshay. Not coming from the usual background, that
Right,
we right. When you have such things, right. I keep always, saying yes. We are okay with the background is coming, but always, looking for diversification, even at Java, right, as a fund.
right.
We are looking for very, very diversified people. We're very, very open that way. I think what you shared also is interesting, right? In Andhra, Karthik would love because he's from Andhra, right? He's like, yeah, man, finally something's happening. So that's exciting,
Absolutely.
Akshay. I think
Thank you.
that's the thing. Akshay, you can throw us a question. Before we wrap up, you have anything to ask us? During your pre-willing session, I know we put you on the spot and interviewed you for too long. Yeah.
No worries, no worries. Sure, look, I was looking forward to it all day, to be honest. I'd prepared some notes as well.
Oh, awesome, man. This is Karthik. Look, our pre-wedding session is taken to the next level now with Akshay Bansali preparing all day and all charged up for the whole day.
No, this is fantastic, Akshay. I'll tell you why, right? Because um, we want to keep it as free wheeling as possible, right? But
True.
nonetheless, we always have to do a little bit of research a little bit, right, before we
Right,
come on
right.
to do this. But I've heard tremendous stories about your memo writings from Vinod,
Thank
right?
you.
I think if you didn't come here without any preparation, I would have been surprised. So yeah.
Thank you, thank you. So Vinod, tell us what's happening at Java. How's the program going? I recently read your post about angel investing or the course which you are putting up. How are things with that? Give us some tips on that at least.
So Karthik already marketed the course in the early part of the show. So we
Okay,
will remark. No, I think it's pretty good. We filled most of the slots. Maybe a few more slots up for the grabs starting on 26th. I think it's fun, Akshay, if you ask me, right? Apart from doing evaluating startups day in and day out, right? Teaching
right.
just right. I was telling Karthik, it just refines our thinking.
True,
Every time
true.
we teach, right, it refines, why this, why are we teaching exactly this, is there another way around? So I think I am starting to value that exercise even more because, it helps me rethink some of the ideas that are there, right? And
Right.
it just refines, hopefully, and it becomes better, our thought process on a lot of things, right? For
Right.
example, what strategy to use, double down or follow on. That's some thought process that I've been doing. But as part of the Angel course, right, I also teach that session. So, but that is something, I'm also trying to bring that to the micro VC group, which I mentioned to you, I'll talk about you separately offline on the course,
Absolutely.
right?
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
So every small idea that kind of, gets, ticked off there and then it's become something more bigger, larger and then I'm able to take it outside also sometimes. So I think I'm loving it. I don't know about Karthik. He's loving doing the course. Yeah.
Yeah, simple answer is yes and no, right? Loving it because it's if you see when you see the executed product, right, the final product, it's good, it's amazing, it gives you a lot of energy, but the path to get there is so onerous, right? Because
Right.
you have to update your case studies, you have to update your use cases, your various other elements of the course, right? It's never static, because otherwise it becomes stale, so you have to keep it
True.
fresh all the time.
True.
At the same time, the challenge is, how do you share some of these case studies without necessarily uh, trying to convey the final result of whether we have done it or whether we haven't done it. So a little bit of excitement here and there, right, in the inbuilt into the courses. So that I always love. And then we do a guessing game towards the end of the case study, asking them to figure out what the company is, whether we should invest or
Right.
not. So the whole um, uh, the whole structure is very interactive, Akshay. I think that's the best part
Very,
of doing this.
very interesting. Yeah. I would say that investing is less of a science and more of a art. And
Yeah.
the more you practice your art, the better you get at it. And everyone has a different style. So I believe Vinod's style of, Vinod's version of my deal memo is teaching and improvising on that.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I think all of us have our ways of doing things, right? And
Right,
like Karthik was
right.
mentioning, right, the course, right, is evolved automatically, right? We revamp the course like in two batches. It's completely different, like for the third batch. We don't know how it will shape up exactly for the fourth batch, so we are evolving, along with it. So that's exciting. It's changing, learning.
Right.
That's like interesting. And frankly speaking, right,
Oh, and the other part that I forgot to mention actually was, we took a slightly different approach this time around, Akshay. Where
Okay.
we pre-screened the applications, right? Because what we sensed was, we're getting a lot of applications, and we wanted to make sure that the peer-to-peer learning also happens, and we pre-screened
Okay.
it for the first time, right? So
Wow.
that's an exciting part where we've actually done a little bit of work on understanding who the applicants are. Maybe sometimes we call them, sometimes we email them, try to understand their motivations and see if this really
Right.
helps them or not, right?
Right. Right. Very interesting approach. Yeah. I think a very qualitative approach as to evaluate people and if they are really into it. Like working with your super fans, I would say. Like if any
yeah,
startup wants to achieve a product market fit, they always look for these super fans or like first few customers who would brag about it. So let's just say that we are all working towards that.
interesting. Yeah, actually, that's potentially possible, and it builds a nice network for us. Frankly speaking,
Right.
Karthik has a post saying, 30% of our angel course takers have already invested in startups after our course.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
yeah, in a way, we are creating a generation of new angel investors, informed angel investors. Not
Right.
they're learning it and then putting in money. It
Very
is,
interesting. Very interesting.
yeah. So that's also happening. Yeah, I think we've done quite a bit of marketing, Karthik, now on the angel course for ourselves. Thanks. so,
Yeah, man,
so
you give me some time, dude. That's what I do. You know that, right?
Actually, I think it's only a matter of time. Java and SuperValue will do a deal together. Uh,
Definitely, definitely.
yeah, I'm like looking forward to it. I'm sure Karthik
Sure. Same here.
is looking forward to it, and it'll be great to work with you on some of these companies. Looking forward to it. Thanks for your time, and continue writing
Always,
it.
yeah.
Please do share us, if at all,
Sure.
wherever. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks,
Sure.
Akshay.
Sure.
Thanks for coming.
Pleasure, Vinod. Thank you, Karthik. Very well hosted and had a good time chatting up with you guys. Would love to be back.
It's a pleasure to have you on, Akshay. See you soon. Talk to you soon. Bye
See you.
bye.
Have a good
Bye.
day.
Take care. You
Bye-bye.
too.
Hey, Karthik, so we've had a nice 30 minute almost conversation with the surprise guest.
Nice conversation, man. I think way to go, Vinod. I think Akshay is like very spot on how he emphasizes on the founders,
Yeah,
before he chooses at this stage, right? I think it's rather interesting that I think this is the whole point of this conversation that we have, right? What are some of the quirks that we look for in the founders when we make an investment
yeah,
decision? it's not always because like he said, it's an art and it's not a science, right? uh, Startups at this age, at this stage, it's very difficult to objectively evaluate them based on financial data, right? Because there is nothing there. You have to look at so many uncertainties and then make a call, whether or not you would like to do it. um, Great to have him. Hopefully, like you said, we'll do a deal soon, instead of taking it to some of his current partners. He'll probably bring it to us. If not, we'll just arm twist him to do that.
Yeah, so I think it brings us to an interesting thing. Right? I think first time we've had a fellow friend and a VC. I think on freewheeling we've had founders before. We've had our portfolio founders before. I think first time we have a VC. Which again makes it interesting for all of us. We continue to talk to a lot of friends. We want to work. I think in Java, I think one thing that I am at least we've all been discussing is we want to work with other investors. Happy to share whenever we have deals where we can work together. That's great. That's the whole idea. Trying to bring these investors also.
Okay, I have an interesting comment that I want to put it up right now. Okay, ta-da! Hey Sham, thanks for listening to the show, watching the show right now. How are you? How's it going? All right, so I'm gonna read the question that Sham has up here on the screen, right? Vinod Karthik, having attended your angel course, can I do an internship for say a month at Java? Way to go, Sham! Thanks for putting us on spot on live.
Sham, I mean, I don't know what to answer. This is surprising question. I'm happy to talk to you, Sham. You've been a great supporter of us.
Yeah. No, but Vinod, before you answer it, right? I'm gonna have to mention this. We're pretty much on a day-to-day basis. We connect with Sham, but he chose to ask this question here right now.
Yeah, maybe Sham has some ulterior motives, for wanting to do this and putting us on the spot today. And we should mention, Sham, since he's here, I also mention again, Spiel. Sham was one of our first, persons who joined our first batch of Angel course.
Yeah.
After that, he's done a bunch of investments with us, and in his own personal capacity also. Frankly, I was surprised at the pace at which Sham operates. Right, I wish we could bring him on the video, but I'm surprised at the pace at which he operates. And he understands nuances. And asks us right questions. And a great partner to have at Java Capital, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, Sham, let me know if you would like to join us on the video. Okay, while you're pondering that, let's stay in touch, Sham, offline about this. I'm curious to pick your brain on why you want to intern, right? First of all, we are honored that you would want to intern with us. Also, I think for those who don't know anything about the bromance that is going on here right now, right, is because Sham is also like very into the startup ecosystem. And he's very keen. We keep getting updates from him saying that, hey guys, did you look at this? This happened this week. What do you guys think? So very enthusiastic about this space. I think we're very happy to partner with people like Sham, right? All right.
Yeah, Sham says.
Got it, Sham. Got it.
Some other time. That's great. Yeah. Thanks, Sham. I'll catch up with you offline. There's something interesting coming up, Sham. I'll leave you with that snippet.
Yes. We will be in touch, Sham.
Yeah. Yeah. Karthik, the other topic, right? I know we are almost. I put up another interesting topic, right? We should discuss is some of the well-funded, growing startups are, wanting to fund their. Thanks, Sham, again. Wanting to fund, run an internal accelerator program or a startup program internally. I saw this with WebEngage, running a cohort for startups. Then I saw ShipRocket. And it's not like, we have a DreamX accelerator by Dream11. This is a new pattern that I'm seeing. I'm just starting to think, what's driving these incentives. So far, nobody's announced, I'm going to provide. Some people are saying, they will also provide money. And I got this question from one of our micro VC friends who said, are we going to be made jobless? I'm saying obviously exaggerated, because if some of these well-funded players are starting to put in 2 crores, 3 crores into the company. Any thoughts, on that, Karthik?
No, Vinod, I think this is very interesting, right? I've actually seen a seed stage funded company, starting something like this, which is into, let's just say, it's a consumer internet company where they were trying to do something akin to Amazon Launchpad, right? I thought that was like, was it? I wouldn't say foolish, but I would be like, is it the right way to spend whatever money that they've raised in seed fund? But I think this looks like something that is much more getting more prevalent now, right? Especially those that have raised a lot of funding. um, my sense is that this is a way for some of these guys to augment their corporate strategy, if you will. From a mergers and acquisition point of view, I think it gives them good visibility into some of these companies. And in fact, it's not very far-fetched, right, from companies like maybe Flipkart acquiring PhonePe at a very early stage. This could be probably seen as an extension to that. But I think that same things that made startups successful and VCs successful should be there in the corporate VCs also, right? I think the same kind of thinking should be there. The same kind of energy should be there in spotting those differentiators, and add on top of it a layer of your own industry idiosyncrasies, right?
Yeah.
So which becomes, I think, a little bit complicated, if you will, unless you know or have managed something like this before. Um, so that's my view. But in general, my sense is that any funding available, any mentoring available for startups should be a net positive for the ecosystem at large.
Yeah, yeah. I think you may be right, Karthik. I also approached it from another angle. I would put it. I think one is looking for potential future M&As, if at all. That's one, or strategic stories for themselves. That's one. The third thing I also sense, it could be for customers itself. Future customers, right? By providing, like what I mean, Amazon provides credits and builds an ecosystem, right? This could be like another way. I'm not saying everybody is doing exactly the same model. But if you just look at what's happening, right, it could be that some of these companies are providing free credits, onboarding them as customers. It is like an Amazon game at a much smaller scale at some level. It also feels.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, it's a marketing game. It could be an M&A game. It could be an ecosystem play. But yeah, is it net positive? Good question. I think to ask. I think in most cases, yes. I think but it'll also depend on how equity and those alignments happen. It's not large corporates also, right? We're talking of companies which are just breaking out, right? It's not a Flipkart. I know is doing an accelerator. We spoke about that. I think I will wait. I think I'm like waiting to see what this means. Yeah.
Viral, I think an interesting consequence of raising money from, in general, corporate VCs, right, is the entrepreneur's ability to do a follow-on funding from a VC. Because the question of access and the question of unfair advantage for the previous corporate VC may come into play, which could have an impact on the company's ability to work with other potential clients in the area, right? So that is one common theme that used to come up, whenever we used to hear about companies, wanting to raise so or have done so in the past, right? What do you think is the right approach for startup founders to do that? Benefit from some of these corporate VCs, at the same time, be able to be in a position to have an arm's length relationship with these guys so it doesn't impact their commercial interests?
Yeah, I think it's a delicate balance, Karthik.
Oops, Vinod, I think we have lost you. Looks like you guys are stuck with me for now. Okay, we'll just wait for Vinod to join back in. Okay, so Vinod just acknowledged that he lost the connection, so we'll see. He should be able to join us momentarily. But let me make a quick announcement in the meanwhile. If you're just joining us, we're live on YouTube and we're also live on Periscope. Hey Vinod, welcome back.
Hey, yeah.
Making a quick announcement about the course as well. We're starting a new angel investor course on September 26th. Do check it out. Happy to have a conversation with you guys offline if that is something that you are keen on. Vinod, welcome back. We lost you there for a second.
Yeah, I think switching devices, so I think, you were asking, I was just telling startups have to strike a fine balance, need to analyze, why am I getting, what am I getting? Is it valuable and how can I leverage that? But I think, it's net positive is what I sense, the more we do, all of us put together, I think, beneficial for the startups, I mean, zero or in India or day one of the startup ecosystem, right? I think we should. This is good if you ask me. Net positive, but each startup has to ask a set of questions to themselves. Why am I doing this? But it's good for all of us. Yeah.
Switching topics, one thing that really caught my attention this week, right, is a dual listing clause for IPOs, for startup IPOs, right? Have you read anything about it? I haven't really gone deep into it, but it looks like it's an additional layer of concern for startups hoping to go public.
I think it's too early, Karthik, right? The government has just put out saying, you can list potentially in the US or, any external market. But comes with a caveat that, you may have to potentially list in India within a period of specified period of time, right? See, currently, right, overseas listing of Indian companies is not allowed unless, you already listed in the Indian public markets already, right? I think the government is thinking, at least, it's aware of the problem now from what we see, right? It's aware of the problem. Look, some of the startups, the new economy players are not going to be profitable in like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, right? So it requires much longer stretch. One is, I think, good. The government has taken concern of it. They're aware of the issue. So I think opening up for overseas listing is a good thing. But how? At the end of the day, right? One, Indian investors also want access to it, right? Want to invest in this, right? Whenever there is an Ola, there is a Flipkart. We also want to take benefit, right? The Indian investor, I'm saying, retail or public, whoever it is, right? So I think the government is trying to balance that very finely. We'll have to wait. I think, but interesting developments happening. As you touch upon that, right? There's another proposal on the table. about thinking of waiving of long-term capital gains tax for the next 2 years.
Yes.
I think there's been so much of disparity for investors, especially angel investors. And in a public market, investing gets you a lower LTCG, and when you're doing a high risk investment in a startup where the money is at risk, you're encouraging new entrepreneurs and building businesses, right? I think the government should have for investors also, right? I would say remove LTCG, maybe even on the public markets to make it buoyant, remove elder period in the private market, especially for startups that's recognized it already by the government. I think that measure will be very, very handy. Remove LTCG, make it easier, incentivize angel investors, who are putting their hard-earned money already, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot I think the government can do to encourage entrepreneurship in this country. I mean, I can go on. This was a topic I was thinking we should research and talk a little more from our end at Java itself. how
Correct.
we stand to kind of look at it, and there is benefits for us. There is a story for us also. The government could
But
do a lot more. Yeah, opening up to other investors. Yeah.
but I do see it in a positive view that there's a significant movement from the regulatory authorities, which is always a good thing, right? They're looking at making it easier for startups to survive and thrive in India, so which is always welcome. Um, and like you said, I was also thinking about the long-term capital gains and the completely abolishing that regime, right? Would be a shot in the arm for the ecosystem, and no questions about it. Vinod, before we wrap up, as we're running out of time, anything else that caught your eye, or any fundings news that made you stand up and take notice?
Oh, thanks for putting me on the spot. Just,
No, it's okay. I've seen a couple of them actually, to which we are, a little bit connected to both those companies. You know who I'm talking about, right? One obviously is Dream 11, which did another tremendous big raise of $225 million, and it's valued at $2.5 billion. It's a huge validation for Kalari's investment thesis. I think the investors had the vision to see this, right, which is not always easy. Now everybody's like, yeah, Dream 11, it's a given and it's a taken, right? You dial back like 3-4 years back, even 3-4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
It's very difficult to make a case. And similarly, another company which really caught my attention was Cashkaro, which raised their series. Was it Series B? I think Series B of $10 million.
This is a 10 million range, I think. But cash cow, Karthik, especially, and I'll just add in there, right? Whatever little that I can, right? I think it's one of the only businesses in the country which is taken off in the discounting space, right? Very strong candidate across the world, right? You would see in every country you'll have one or two players,
Yeah.
Be it in the US or UK or the European markets, and in the Indian market, right? I think it is like a slightly long haul patient game, but once you are in the game, right, nobody can dislodge you in a way.
Correct.
I think Cashkaro, I think there's tremendous potential that way. Is a solo leader, no competition at this stage if I look at it, and the new app Earnkaro. Kudos to the founder. Right, happy that I had the opportunity to observe at least whatever little in the earlier days, right. I think both Kalari investments that we spoke about this time.
Correct.
I think
Correct.
great stuff that's coming out. Yeah.
I think what's interesting about Kashkara is how these guys have silently, have become the largest player in this in that particular space, right? Probably the largest cashback platform, if you will. Tremendous credit to the founders who have kept at it. I know it's still day one for them. They would say it's still day one for them. They'll have a long way to go, but good news nonetheless. Great to see both those companies doing very well. Yeah. Anything else, Vinod?
That's I think Karthik. That's a good note to end on. Two companies from our past, employer, getting funded, and I think that's a good wrap. You can. I think that's about it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. It's a pleasure to have you on and participate in this conversation. We'll be back again next week, same time, 6 o'clock. Freewheeling Fridays. Don't miss out on interesting conversations, interesting guests joining us every week. Obviously, this video will still be available on Periscope, on YouTube, and great.
Happy
We'll see
weekend,
you
yeah.
next week.
Yeah.
Happy weekend,
guys. Have a good day. Bye bye. See you.
Bye.